Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. Today we've got another episode of the EVE Rundown. Open water, just what you want. Okay, so in my spring picks video, I talked about this baby right here and how I wanted to give it its own full dedicated review. And this is Sunplosion from Simone Andrioli. Now, I was pretty hush-hush about giving or going into further detail about how this made me feel, what my thoughts were about it, but I'm sure you guys could tell by just my reaction alone how I truly feel. But to be fair, I did want to give a little bit more details about the note structure and just what I feel like the vibe of this would give, okay? So the EVE rundown consists of what my experience is. So that's the bulk of how this makes me feel, the note structure, things like that. And then the value. So how much it costs and do I feel like the cost matches what this gives. And then lastly is going to be the end result or EVE's verdict, okay? So if you're interested to see what my thoughts are on this baby, keep on watching. Sunplosion. What kind of fragrance is this exactly? Now, the name alone does give it away a bit, but when I got my first whiff of this, y'all, it gave me an instant smile. It gave me happiness in a bottle. It gave me summertime in a bottle. It gave me juicy, fruity. It gave me a lot of sweetness. It gave me pure joy. And it gave me excitement because this instantly transports me into the warmer temps. And it instantly puts me in the mindset of being on vacation, which I am so thirsty for at this point in time, okay? But y'all, this to me is it's a super sweet fruity floral, but it's not sweet like cavity inducing, but it's nearing the edge of that. I'm gonna go ahead and just spray this on paper so I can get a refresher of what this gives me, and then you guys can see what the atomizer is like, and it's beautiful, might I add. Look at that. Did y'all see that? Power. Nice and even. Y'all, when I say the juiciest of fruits, so in the opening of this, there is a beautiful juicy mango, and that mango is ripe, okay? Not on the verge of being rotten, but it's perfectly ripe to me. But what takes this over the edge and what makes it a little bit more interesting and gives it a tropical factor is the note of guava. Y'all, the guava in here, I think it's what's like engulfing me, and it's just enticing me and wanting me to be on somebody's beach. I cannot get over how beautifully blended those two notes in here are. And that's predominantly what I get. But as this starts to dry down, there is like a bit of a creamy facet. It's not too overpowering or too present, but there is a creamy facet somewhat in the background that I get. And that's from the sandalwood note that is at the bottom. Now, when I wear this, I don't get overwhelmed with floral notes. This doesn't come across as a floral to me. However, I believe there is a note of hibiscus in here. And you know what? Let me stop guessing the notes and let me just look it up for you. Okay, so the note breakdown is mango, guava, coconut water, lime, white sandalwood, and hibiscus. Again, that hibiscus is sitting way in the background because to me, when I wear this, when I've worn this, florals was not anything that I could really detect. It was mainly that beautiful mango and guava in the forefront, but the coconut is laced all throughout this thing, and that lime kind of peeks through in the very opening because it is a bright citrusy vibe in the opening. But like I also said, there is a slightly creamy factor that does come in as it starts to settle on your skin, and that is from the sandalwood. Now, as I mentioned, it's sweet, y'all. It's pretty sweet, and what I will say keeps this from being childish and obnoxiously sweet is that sandalwood, because it's a white sandalwood. So there's a bit of a creamier facet to that helps kind of level set it out just a tad so that it doesn't get on your nerves, but in fact makes you want to go in for more. Keep sniffing yourself, spray a little more, do whatever you need to do, because this will definitely get you in the mood. Now let's talk about performance. Performance for me, stellar, spectacular. No issues in that department. I will say the very first time that I wore this, I really wasn't paying attention to how long it wore on my skin because I wore it, I ran out for errands. I just wasn't paying attention to the timing, but I was enjoying the scent trail that this was giving. So let me also say that this has a little more than moderate sillage for me. The second time that I wore this, and I was being intentional about that wear, and I did get a compliment at the car wash. Thank you very much. So this does have presence. This does, it shouts a little bit, but it's not obnoxious. Again, it's not obnoxious, but it has presence, which I absolutely love. So performance, longevity, sillage, I give it 2 thumbs up. No issues in that space at all. So is this fragrance at all unique? I'm gonna have to say no. This is not something that you haven't come across before. Quite honestly, if you were to sniff this, I really feel like most would say that this smells a little bit on the youthful side. It does, but it's not an immature youthful. I think it's youthful in the sense of letting your hair down, being just a little bit more playful, get out of the rut of being so serious, worried about work, worried about bills. Just allow yourself to just live and enjoy life. I feel like it's youthful in that sense, but not youthful as an immature or just being a young kid's fragrance. So when you sniff this, you may say that it reminds you of something that you smelt back in the day. So that's why I feel like it's not unique. But I will say I love the fact that once you spray this, there is no presence of any alcohol of any kind in the opening. And that is what I specifically hate about just generic type fruity fragrances. You get a blast of alcohol, and it takes a little bit for that to kind of dissipate before you actually get into the depth of the fragrance. There's depth from beginning to end with this, and that is absolutely why I love this. So while this is not unique in that sense, this is a well done, more refined take on a fruity floral. Okay, so let's talk about value. So how much did this cost? Now, I did pick this up from Lucky Scent, and I want to say the retail value on the site was $189. I did use a code, and so that took off 10%, so I paid about $178. So considering the discount, and I'll take every single coin that I can take, okay? Again, inflation is very real. So considering the discount on top of this, me paying $178, I think it's pretty reasonable. So you just have to understand that where we are, the times today, everything is just higher than what we've been used to maybe in the last 3 or so years. Now, when I also think about the performance and the sillage that I mentioned earlier, I feel like it does match up to what I paid for in that sense as well. So again, I won't complain in that aspect. So overall, I feel like the cost matches just the market in general in where fragrances are, and for the performance that this gives, $178 is not too bad. Do you need a fragrance like this in your collection? I would say yes, y'all. This, again, this transports me to a vacation. This immediately puts me in the mind of laying on somebody's lawn chair on the beach, just drinking my pina colada and living my best life, okay? I love how this just immediately puts me in a happy, positive mental space. So I definitely would agree that this does add value to your collection. If you are into, you know, super fruity, super sweet fruity and coconut scents, this is definitely one that I would consider looking into and possibly adding to your collection. So what is the end result? What say ye, EVE? You guys can already tell that I am absolutely, positively in love with this. This is definitely a keeper, not a sweeper for me, y'all. I'm excited about this fragrance. Like I said, I've worn this a few times already, and I've just been enjoying every single second and minute of this fragrance and what it gives me and how it makes me feel. So I would definitely recommend this as a fragrance to try out from the house. Again, this is why I picked it as a top pick for this spring and summer, because I enjoy it that much. So I highly, highly recommend this, okay? So I also mentioned that I own another fragrance from Simone Andreoli, and it's actually called Leisure in Paradise. And I love this one just as much as this, but I'm really leaning more towards this a little bit more. I don't know, I think it's just that mango and guava that's doing it for me. So Leisure in Paradise gives off more of a vanillic and creamy coconut. It's also got some beautiful juicy pineapple and papaya in here as well. I will say that Simone Andreoli definitely has a DNA that I can detect in both of these, but both of these are loves for me, and there are a couple of others that I would like to explore and possibly pick up in the future. So that is my review on Sunplosion. I hope you guys like this video, and if you liked this video, then like this video, okay? So if you have any questions about the house of Simone Andreoli, or you have a fragrance that you've tried personally from the house, let me know what that is in the comments down below. All right, so until the next time, you guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.